So this is not another year of starting over, trying harder, or hoping things finally stick. This is the year you stop chasing results and start becoming the person who naturally creates them. Because real transformation doesn't begin in the gym or in the kitchen. It begins with you. It begins with your identity. And this is the year of your transformation. I know it. I feel it. I know that this is going to be your year. Welcome back to another episode of Monday Motivation, Mindset and Motivation. Glad you guys are here. And just as a quick reminder, if you haven't picked up a copy of my new book yet, Mindset and Motivation for Weight Loss, remember, it is available on Amazon, so you can pick up a copy of the book on Amazon.com. So let's talk about how to create transformation this year, right? You don't build a new year by doing more. You build it by becoming different. I really hope you understand that. You build it by becoming different. And it's a new year, and some of you are just beginning, and a lot of you listening to this, well, you've been around for a while. So you know the process of, well, I am the program. That is what I've taught you. You're not on a program. You're not following a program. I am the program. And you know that. But for those of you who are just joining us, and this is new for you, you're just embarking on your journey, right? You don't build a new body by trying harder. You build a new body by becoming different. Who is that person I'm becoming? You focus on your identity, on the person you're becoming. And why do we do that? Because the results you're looking for don't belong to you. The results you're looking for belong to that better version of you. So your job is to evolve. Your job is to evolve into that person who already owns the results you're looking for. Your job is to adopt the mindset, habits, and behaviors of that person that you're becoming. And where do we start? We begin at the end. We begin at the end and we work our way backwards. And this is the first habit in my new book, Mindset and Motivation. I give you 7 core mindset habits. And the very first habit is begin at the end. And why do we begin at the end? We begin at the end because, as Gandhi once said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Be it now. Be the change you wish to see. So the results you're looking for belong to that person you're becoming. So your job is to be that person, to become that person, to identify the mindset, habits, and behaviors of that person you're becoming. And then the results will be yours. See, the beauty of it is, over time, you start becoming like that future self you're creating. And then at some point, you stop becoming and you start being. That's where the magic happens. So the first step in this process is to stop chasing results and become the person who gets them. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Become the person who gets them. You become your future self, right? You begin with that future vision. Who am I at the end of the year? What have I accomplished? You come up with those I am statements. I am 150 pounds after losing 50 pounds. I am healthy, fit, and strong. Well, if I am healthy, fit, and strong, that means, well, I'm doing some things to be healthy, some things to be fit, and I've got some habits to be strong. That is the process. You start with your mission statement. Then you add actions to your mission statement. That is where you start. You begin at the end and you work your way backwards. And then you have to do something very important. Why? you must ask yourself, why is this important to me? Why am I on this journey? Because you see, your why, I call it your biggest motivating factor. That is what helps you move forward when you don't feel like it. When life gets in the way, when life knocks you down on your butt, what's going to get you to keep moving forward? What's going to get you to get up and keep moving forward? Well, that's your why. And what's your why? You can start with, I want to get healthy because I want to be able to get down on the floor and play with my grandkids. I want to do more things with my family. I want to look good in my clothes. I want to feel better. Those are all great whys. They're a great start to your why. But you got to go deeper than that. You got to ask yourself, why is it important for me to get down on the floor and play with my grandkids? Why is it important for me to do more things with my family? Why is this important to me? Now you see, now you come up with some deeper answers. And then you ask yourself that question again and you go 3-4 levels down. Now you've come up with a deep emotional reason why this journey is important to you. And believe me, your why must be emotional. It must be deep. It must be able to carry you through your worst days. If it's not able to inspire you on your worst days, I'd say you got to keep going. You got to keep making it deeper, keep making it stronger. Because that is your biggest motivating factor. That is what's going to take you forward when motivation fades. So here's a thing with transformation. Identity creates behavior, all right? Identity creates behavior. So where we start is identity drives habits, and your habits get you results. So you see, when your identity shifts, discipline just becomes a very natural thing, right? It becomes natural. It becomes the things you do, right? You've been taught to think of transformation as, well, you do more, you try harder, and you'll get results. But that's the old mindset. The new mindset I want you to the way I want you to think is that lasting change really works in the opposite. It starts with who you've become, who you're becoming, because that drives your habits. And remember, consistency over time with your habits is what gets you the results you're looking for. So you stop forcing change. You start expressing who you're becoming. You start living who you're becoming. So that's what I want you to think about this year. Who am I becoming? Who am I at the end of the year? Right? So this week, instead of asking yourself, what should I do? I want you to start asking yourself, what would the future version of me do right now? What would the future version of me do right now? What would my future self do right now? That is what I want you to start asking yourself, not what should I do, right? Because what you do is based on who you are right now. So you want to be doing things that your future self would be doing. Because every small aligned action, guess what, becomes evidence. And evidence reshapes your identity. So you don't need massive action. You just need repeated alignment. That is what you want, to be in alignment with that person you're becoming. To start acting and thinking like that person you're becoming. So we talked about your I am statements last week on my group calls. And I want you to revisit those. I want you to come up with 3 or 4 very strong I am declarations. If you haven't done that yet, I am healthy, fit, and strong. I am. What weight are you going to be? What's your health situation? I am healthy and med-free, or I have cut my meds in half. Whatever the result that you're looking for, whatever the goal is for the year, you want to declare that. And then you want to start living as the person who has achieved that. You start living as that person now, because that is how you get there, right? So this week is not about intensity, it's about consistency. Going forward, I want you to only think about consistency. So with each of those I am statements you come up with, those declarations for the year, I want you to put some action statements to them. Come up with some non-negotiables, right? Some realistic, repeatable non-negotiables. What are those nutrition habits that you need to practice? What is your commitment to your meals? Eating the right foods in the right amounts at the right time. What is your commitment there? What is your commitment to having balanced meals consistently over the course of the day? What is your commitment to getting active throughout the day, drinking your water, all of the non-negotiable habits that will take you where you want to go, right? These are the things that build your identity, because consistency builds trust and trust builds momentum. This is where we're going, guys. This is what your transformation this year looks like. It begins with your future vision. It begins with having a deep why, a very powerful, emotional, existential reason why you're going in this direction, why the results you're looking for are important to you. This is where we start. So this week is not about proving anything. It's about becoming that person who shows up. You're becoming that person who shows up. You're not behind. You're not starting over. You're stepping into alignment with that person you're becoming, that person you were meant to be. And this is how transformation begins. It begins with really owning your identity. And this is where we start. This is where we create it. So again, to remind you, this week you want to start with your future vision. You got to know exactly where you're going. You got to know exactly what you're after. But more importantly, you got to know why it's important to you, because again, you don't need motivation for anything. Motivation is what gets you started. But having a deep why is what keeps you going. Motivation keeps you going when times are good, when you're motivated. Yes, that's great. But when motivation fades, because motivation is fickle and it leaves, it doesn't stay. That's when you rely on your why. Your why is what's going to take you forward. Your why is what's going to carry you all the way. So as you begin this year, and as you look to the end of the year, for what it is that you've accomplished, I want you to think about it. It's the end of the year and you're looking back. What have I accomplished? Get clear. Clarity is going to bring focus, because now you're going to be focused on acting from the point of view of that person you're becoming, your future self. And that is how you make powerful decisions. That is how you stay consistent over the course of the year. Because remember, success is nothing more than doing simple things consistently over time. That is where your results come from. And what keeps you consistent is knowing exactly who you're becoming. Not just what you want. It's not what you want. What you want belongs to that person you're becoming. So you don't focus on what you want. You focus on that person you're becoming. That is what's going to get you there. Because when things get tough, when you find yourself in situations, you're going to ask yourself, what would the future version of me do right now? What would the future version of me, what would my future self do right now? And then when you take those actions, you'll see that you'll be moving forward in a more powerful way. So remember, this is your year. This is the year of your transformation, but you don't chase transformation. You become the transformation you seek. You become the change you wish to see. You start acting. You start thinking. You start behaving like that person who has already achieved the results you're looking for. And that will drive your actions. That will drive your consistency. That will take you beyond motivation and keep you moving forward even during your worst days. I'm Dr. Dell. I'll catch you next time.